Hello everyone, my name is Droogie Forever, and today we're playing House of the Soul. This is a brand new horror game that just released on Steam for $3.99 US, I believe. So let's see if it's any good. Detective Dahlia Everett. I shall warn you now, taking on this case may lead you to see and experience things which are stranger than you're used to. Seriously? At the northern border of the city between the Cathedral of St. Evelyn and the neighboring apartments, you will find a single road leading northwest. Follow this road. It's going way too fast. I have sufficient reason to believe that something very wrong is happening there. Events so unnatural that public knowledge of them would lead to a breakdown of what you perceive as modern society, if not a breakdown of reality itself. These events must be put to an end with great discretion to prevent any mass hysteria, hence why I've contacted your agency rather than the citizen. Dude, slow this shit down! As a final instruction, allow me to leave you with this. Journey to the Della Crevier mansion, enter the basement. Stop this before it goes too far. The thing down there says skip line. Why is that there if it's just going to automatically skip through it? It's play a line, let me skip to the next one. That's how that works. I'm already irritated with your game design choice here. That was fucking moronic. That was terrible. Absolutely terrible. What a horrible start to the game. Already pissed. Not a good sign when I'm this angry already this early. You don't know what the fuck you're doing, and it's irritating. Alright, I don't know whether I should read this or not, but Diary of Florence de la Crevier, June 17th. These days I find myself plagued by an unmoving miasma of worry. I'm concerned for my dear husband Jean, who seems to be entering a period of intense boredom. And when I look into his eyes, the familiar glitter of the man I once knew is gone, and he can barely seem to muster up the energy to speak with me on an evening beyond one-word monotone responses. I remember the early days of our marriage 19 years ago. He used to be so full of wonder for the world around him, ever searching for a new discovery or technology to experiment with. He would often return home to me with news of some new exciting riddle he had conquered with his brothers. But that has all changed now. Since he has entered this period of ennui, I find him becoming more withdrawn, unaffected by the world around him. I believe there were some old medical journals in the library. It is possible that one of those could give me some ideas on how to reinvigorate him back to his former self. Alright, let's check these other two doors again now that we got a new key. Yes. Okay, apparently one of them went here. Entering alone, hands of healers guided me. I found loss lying there. To the north looks the mother, stalwart knight of matriarchy. To the east looks the sun, writing a new sunrise of hope. To the south looks the daughter, shying away from prying eyes. To the west looks the father, standing tall and proud against the horizon. My dearest Florence, now that we are married and you are officially part of the family, I believe it is time I introduce you to a little de la Crevier tradition, puzzles. You see, my great-great-grandfather who built this mansion was, as the story goes, an avid collector of curios and trinkets from around the world, but he especially loved unique yet strange puzzles. Most of the puzzles he kept here have been lost to time. I am afraid, but one remains an integral part of the de la Crevier household in a rather literal sense. I am speaking, of course, of the portrait room. Inspired by the many puzzles he had collected over the years, he had ordered one of his own design to be built into the mansion, which unlocks the door to the upper floor of this very library. I shall let you figure out the finer details, but here is a hint from me. There is a particular poem on family, which my grandfather was also very fond of. Yeah, it was the north, south, east, west poem. I had a feeling that was going to be a hint or a clue. As we look forward, we leave our backs exposed, so we protect ourselves with a mail of tradition. Father's guidance, mother's wisdom becomes son's ambition, daughter's intuition. Diary of Florence de la Crevier, June 19th. I found no useful medical documents in the library, although perusing the old family documentation has perhaps given me some clue as to why Gene is finding himself in this state. I was reminded of Gene's sizable inheritance from both his maternal and paternal grandparents, bestowed upon him when he was a newly started engineering student at university. Presented with such a sizable sum of money, it seems Gene saw fit to drop out there and then. He had, after all, suddenly found himself with a large house and a generously sized fortune to himself. In Gene's head, this meant he would not need to finish his degree or get a job, since he had all the money he would ever need already. This is, I believe, the chief motivator of his downward spiral. Since Gene has never had a job or a goal to work towards, he is lacking a true vocation or purpose, and without his brothers to keep him otherwise occupied, he has simply nothing at all to do besides roam the halls of this old house. We will be making our usual visit to church this Sunday. I will speak to Father Albrecht after the service to see if he has any ideas on what can be done. Side note, must reopen the second floor library door. The mechanism has reset again. I don't see any mechanism in here, so... All right, we did pick up a key in the library, so I want to see if it goes through this door first before we... Okay. Okay, it goes here. Question is, which one's north and etc., you know? North should be that way. So the mother looks north. I see that as that way. The son looks east. The daughter looks south. Sun looks east. I don't know which one's the sun. Maybe this one? And then this one's the father to the west. Somewhere a door has unlocked. Okay. So that did something. So, it's got to be upstairs somewhere. Left office key in kitchen storage room, but got locked out. Think I saw storage room key accidentally kicked under one of the kitchen cabinets during banquet preparations. Okay. Okay, bathroom opened, but doesn't look like there's anything in here.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the portrait room. Yeah, I was confused by the portrait of the mother because I didn't think women back then fought in battles, and it looked like she was in some kind of battle gear or something. So I was just a little surprised. I mean, I know obviously there were women fighters, but there weren't a lot back then. Unless they've just been erased from the history books, which is entirely possible. As such, the Romans had a word for this, anima, meaning the animating principle. To them, it was the building blocks of life itself, the door to greater understanding. Anima. Diary of Florence de la Crevier, June 23rd. Happiest of days, Jean is reinvigorated, a new man once again. My idea to speak to Father Albrecht worked splendidly. He suggested Jean take to some Bible study for spiritual guidance, and it seems to have worked wonderfully. There is one verse that Jean seems especially enamored with, but he is so busy these days I have not had a chance to look and see which one it is. Things are certainly looking up. I can only hope that his situation will continue to improve from here on out, and his spell of boredom does not return. I don't know which door this key goes to, so we will check them all.
Yes.
Okay, apparently it goes here. Diary of Florence de la Crevier, July 2nd. I suppose I was foolish to think that this could last. It has been barely 2 weeks since Jean was reinvigorated following Father Albrecht's advice, yet he has already retreated to his unaffected, quiet self. He has become completely shut off from me this time. The only time I even see him anymore is when he returns to our bedroom at night, following a full day of isolation in his office. He does not show at mealtimes, nor to greet Alyssa, his own daughter. When she returns from school, nor to greet Alyssa, his own daughter, when she returns from school, something he took great pleasure in doing when she first started school a few years ago. I am not completely without hope, however. It is our 20th wedding anniversary next month, and I have a special surprise planned. I will be working together with Alyssa and the servant to cook him a full banquet of all his favorite foods from when we were first courting. If that cannot make him revisit his youthful vigor, I don't know what else can. That reminds me, I must check the attic for wherever I left the spare servant's key. It is truly not safe to have it lying around in unknown areas of the house.
Can't do that yet.
Okay. Door's locked, unfortunately. I keep getting stuck on everything.
Yes.
Okay, it goes here. Servant's diary. The master has been behaving very strange these days. He barely speaks to Miss de la Crevier or little Alyssa anymore. It's such a shame to see him become isolated from her. They used to be so devoted to each other. Although I could be mistaken, just the other day I was cleaning in the master's office on the second floor when I noticed what seemed to be a bill or receipt of some sort, and whatever it is he was arranging to purchase cost a pretty penny. With their anniversary coming up soon, I hope it's a gift of some sort from Miss de la Crevier that would prove the spark truly isn't gone between them. As for Miss de la Crevier herself, she has requested that she, Alyssa, and myself all work together on cooking an anniversary banquet as a surprise for the master to lift his spirits. As such, I have loaned her the kitchen key that I usually store in my bedroom for safekeeping, and to stop Alyssa from raiding the suites again.
I need a key.
Okay, these both open. This bathroom seems to have nothing in it. This has a key, but nothing else, really. Alright.
Can't do that.
Alright, this should be the kitchen key, I think, even though it was in the servant's room. So let's see if it opens this. There we go. Diary of Florence de la Crevier, August 12th. I find myself saddened beyond words. After weeks of planning and days of preparation, myself, Alyssa, and the servant finally completed our anniversary banquet, and what a sight it was to behold. Once it was all finished and on the table, ready to be eaten, I went to fetch Jean from his office. I arrived at his door full of hope and excitement, but left the room crushed. You see, when I told Jean of the feast awaiting him in the dining room, he simply looked me in the eyes and said, "What reason could you have for this?" I was shocked at first, and the shock only deepened after some light questioning, which revealed that Jean had completely forgotten it was our anniversary. Even then, after I had reminded him, he simply responded with a flippant, "How kind, but I have already eaten," and resumed his work as if I wasn't standing right there in front of him. It seems that Jean's portions of the meal shall be going to waste then. Upon seeing my disappointment, the servant revealed to me something very interesting, that Jean had been working on a secret project for some time, and at great cost, the bill for which is stored in his office. The servant had assumed it was an anniversary gift from him to me, but it seems we can safely rule that out. I must go and find out what project could be so pressing that he would value it above his own family.
Yes.
Okay, that was the storeroom key. This is like Pineview Drive, just key after key. Every door opens and every door needs a key.
Yes.
Here we go. Dear Mr. de la Crevier, This is a remodeling bill. Thanks for choosing our humble builders company to carry out the remodeling on your home. I can confirm that the work on the sublevels will begin on August the 23rd to a value of redacted. I have also looked into your other request, and while we do not get many requests for puzzle doors, I must admit your idea fascinated me. So the concept of unlocking a door by spelling out a password using toy blocks is truly ingenious, and we have decided to also carry out this work. It will come to an additional cost of redacted. Yours faithfully, the Sampson Builders Association. Master bedroom key. Diary of Florence de la Crevier, August 18th. I should have known that Jean's project would be something strange, given how often he has avoided explaining its nature to me. Remodeling works on the sublevels of the house. What could he possibly want those old, dusty basements for? And a puzzle door as well, which seems to be in Alyssa's bedroom, if I'm reading his plans correctly. I took to asking Jean directly about this work he has planned. It is my home as well, after all, and he flatly refused me entry to the basements. I believe his exact words were, "As long as I walk this earth, you shall never be allowed down here again." Apparently, it is of such vital importance to him that I don't see what is going on down there that he has hidden the basement access key and refuses to tell me where. Okay, we got the master bedroom key, so that should mean maybe over here somewhere. Right? And it's not, that's the attic. Although, it could be off the attic, but I doubt it. I bet it's one of these.
Can't do that yet. Yes.
Yeah, it's this one. Okay. Child's room key. Diary of Florence de la Crevier, September 25th. It's happened again. Yesterday was Alyssa's 8th birthday, and once again Jean was nowhere to be found. As I suspected, he had completely forgotten. I may have been willing to let the incident on our anniversary slide, but I will not tolerate Jean neglecting his daughter as a consequence of whatever personal matter he is so deeply engaged in. I remember when she was first born how he would dote over her morning and night, yet now he barely seems to notice her as she goes about this old house. I had ordered Jean to make it up to her, and this morning he returned from an outing to town with large boxes full of wooden toys for Alyssa. It's bad enough that he thinks frivolous gifts will be enough to make up for forgetting his own daughter's birthday, but the toys themselves were more suitable for a child half her age, as though he has also forgotten how old she even is. Since then, he has disappeared into his newly opened basement, and I have not seen him since. Maybe it is for the best, as I don't know how I would react to having him around anymore. This should be a bathroom, which it is. Okay, I don't know where the child's bedroom is, but
Yes.
I guess right here. Really? This is kind of a weird. Okay, valuable store key. Miss de la Crevier, I have moved the toys Alyssa received on her birthday into the attic as per your request. If she wants them retrieving, they have been placed in the valuable storeroom, as the furniture storeroom was full. I don't know where the valuable storeroom is, but they mentioned the attic. It could be that extra room off the attic upstairs.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Alright. Now we got the puzzle blocks. Is safe in here? I don't know where we use the puzzle blocks, but we have them. Alright, where do we think we use the puzzle blocks at? I don't know. I don't know where we use these. They said something about Alyssa's room, right? This is the master bedroom. Maybe... Oh, right here. 3, 4, 5. Anima. Anima. That's it. Anima. There we go. Something opens nearby. Gone into the basement. Maybe won't see me again. From Jean. That's basement key, I guess.
Yes.
I mean, this isn't a basement. Oh, okay. I was gonna say. Diary of Florence de la Crevier, September 29th. It has been 4 days now since Jean disappeared into the basement, and I have not seen any signs of him returning yet. It seems my next course of action must be to head down there myself to see what he's doing. I can only hope that he is safe. Lots of wine. Let's see. Sublevels key.
Yes.
Chapter 1 complete. Chapter 2 unlocked. Okay. Okay. There's a lot more to this. There's 2 more chapters. Diary of Jean de la Crevier, date crossed out. It appears I will be based here for a little while longer. Work on the machine in the laboratory downstairs is still ongoing. Until I have finished constructing that, the laboratory itself is fairly useless to me. As such, I will be using this holding area as my research base for the next few days at least. It is not so bad, as I still have things to keep me occupied when I'm not finishing up the machine. I must admit, I'm anxious to see it in working order. Will it be able to fulfill its purpose? Only time will tell. What purpose? Alright, there doesn't seem to be anything else useful here. Some kind of prison. James Smith, low affinity, useless. Grigory Kiselyov, promising start but experiment unsuccessful. Damien Hawkins, very low affinity, barely survived. Theodore Carver, another low affinity. Okay, I don't know what the hell they're doing with these people, but can't get into any of the cells, it looks like. There's a key. Cell block B key. Let's see if there's anything else up here useful. Okay.
Key is needed.
I think this is cell block B down here, but access corridor key. So that probably lets me open that. Yeah. Okay. The machine is finished at last, and I have my first experiment results waiting downstairs. All 4 subjects were very gracious in their participation, although I am disappointed to admit that none of them proved particularly successful. It appears that they lack some essential spark, some natural affinity needed for the procedure to be a success. After the procedure was performed on them, all 4 men became almost hollow. They didn't react to either physical or vocal stimuli, and became almost entirely nonverbal beyond reflex noises and shouts. I think a shorthand name for these unsuccessful results may prove useful. Perhaps shadows? It seems a good fit for their silent, withdrawn nature to be shadows of their former selves. I, on the other hand, am more vigorous than ever. I must admit I was deterred by the first few unsuccessful results, but I find myself more driven than ever after some time to think. All I need to do is find someone with that vital spark and the right amount of affinity needed to not just survive the procedure, but to thrive beyond it. However, if that does not happen soon, I will quickly find that this holding area becomes full. As such, I will be converting the downstairs maintenance area into a disposal room for any excess materials to save space. Okay. Oh, that was the door I came in. I got turned around.
Yes.
Laboratory access. I've installed a new mechanism on the laboratory door just in case things take a turn for the worse and I need to quickly seal the place closed. The door now makes use of an electrical auto-locking mechanism which, if it has no power, will remain permanently closed. I have linked this lock to the electrical room upstairs using a manner of my own invention. There are multiple fuse sockets installed on the wall, but only some of them are connected to the mechanism. In a way, This functions almost like an electrical combination lock. If you do not know the right fuse combination, the door remains locked. This means if I want to stop anything getting in or out of the laboratory, all I need to do is remove one or more of the fuses. Dang it. Alright. Maintenance key. This reminds me of Pineview Drive a lot, where you're just looking for keys
Yes.
constantly. Maintenance crank. All waste materials disposed of. Sealed maintenance area for now. Something has been hastily scribbled at the bottom of the note. Clearly a later addition. Left chain cutters upstairs in case I need to get back in. It's about a chained door. I also got an infirmary key. And a fuse. So there's the chained door that I can't get through. Not yet, anyway.
Yes.
This is the infirmary, looks like. Another fuse. Success. Finally, today marked the occasion of the first successful run of the machine, meaning the procedure was able to be completed without producing a shadow as the result. As I suspected, it was the infinity of the subject that made all the difference, and the painter had plenty of that. Due to the success of the operation, I was able to both make an extraction and deposit the result into a new vessel without damaging it along the way, although I do have some concerns with the quality of the result. Oh well, that's a matter for another day. Today is a day for celebration. After all, it is not every day you finally have proof of your wildest theories, theories that could change the course of the future forever.
Can't do that yet.
Electrical room key. Chain cutters. I don't know which of these to put fuses in, so don't know what to do there. But I have the chain cutters. I have 2 cell block cranks. I don't know what to do with either of them, but I have 2 of them.
Yes.
Faulty gas works. It looks like those builders installed some faulty pipe works for the gas when they constructed this area. I find myself consistently being locked out of this room. By my best guess, the failsafe that locks the door when the pressure reaches critical levels has become damaged, most likely by the high temperatures in here. Rather than locking only when the pressure becomes too high, it locks whenever there is any gas turned on at all. I must contact them again soon, since this issue is rendering the room almost useless, as it requires a stable gas supply to run. In the meantime, I have turned the gas on, both to keep the room locked and to better demonstrate the issue when the builders return. I also took the extra step of removing the valve handles to discourage myself from tampering with the machine and making things any worse. If I need to get back in, I'll just reattach the handles and turn the gas off to deactivate the failsafe mechanism. Okay, there's one. And there's 2.
Yes.
Now that I find myself with little use for the shadows anymore, I find myself recollecting their origins. Did they know when they arrived that they would end up serving such a noble purpose for the betterment of humankind? Indeed, I was truly fortunate to already be good friends with the prison warden, since he needed funding and I needed a reliable supply of test subjects who would not be missed if they did not make it through the procedure. I was happy, due to having a decent amount of my comfortable inheritance spare, to give him the money, and he was happy to give me any death row prisoner I would request access to. From that point onwards, it was simply a matter of faking a few executions and having the mortuary transport deliver the prisoners here. Truly, it does seem almost sad in a way to be getting rid of them. It is true that they were always destined for death one way or another, but after working with them on this experiment for so long, it feels wrong to just incinerate the bodies and say no more of them. But it is necessary. I will be more preoccupied with these successful results now, and I don't want any of the shadows to escape, lest my progress be halted so near to the experiment's conclusion. At least I still have my old interview tapes that I can consult if I need to. Interview room key. And another fuse.
Yes.
4 fuses. Interview 21 transcript conducted by Jean de la Crevier. Subject Echo 1. Good morning, subject. Do you know what you are? I am an echo. You created me and named me so yourself. Excellent. You recognize me as your creator? I do. Would you not recognize your creator? I'm afraid I can't say that I would, having never made his acquaintance. I have met him. Would you like me to introduce you? Interview with Jean and Shadows 8 and 13. Good morning, Shadow 8. I know you won't respond, but if we lose our social graces, then we might as well be animals, don't you think? Pause. Indeed, now I know your reflex actions persist after the procedure, but today we're going to see if your instincts do. Nothing too complicated, simply basic animal instincts such as the urge to protect the young of one species. Please excuse me a moment. Shuffling noises as Jean exits, then louder shuffles as he re-enters with another person. I have here with me Shadow 13. I believe you may recognize him. He occupies the cell opposite you. Now, I know he's not exactly young, but he was created after you, so let's hope that's enough. I also have with me my trusty chain cutters. Let's see if relieving 13 of a few of his fingers can provoke a reaction from you. 13, extend your arm, please. Interview with Shadow 4. I've learned by now that the shadows, as I've taken to calling them, are almost completely nonverbal. Today's interview will be testing the limits of that assumption. Good morning, Shadow 4. Today we'll be conducting some basic pain threshold tests. I have here a needle. Please tell me if you feel this. Sharp inhale. Very interesting. The shadows will not talk but respond to pain. I suppose this makes sense as other reflex actions also persisted. Now, Shadow 4, I have here a hammer. Extend your finger, please. Shouts loudly. Can confirm reflex pain noises definitely persist. Concluding interview. I'll need some time to consider this information. Interview with subject 1. Good morning, Damien. Patient unresponsive to old name. Beginning reflex test. 2 quiet thuds. Patellar reflex intact. Indicates reflex functions not linked to extracted property. Damien, do you feel that? Patient seems to be completely unresponsive beyond reflex actions. Suspending interview pending further analysis. How do I know which ones get fuses? I don't know how I would know that information.
One eternity later.
Son of a bitch. Alright. Try 2 on this side and 2 on this side. Okay, now swap these 2 to these. Okay, then make sure... There we go. Finally! Fucking hell. Unreal, man. Unreal. Pretty sure that one.
Yes.
Dude, that was dumb. As the experiment draws on to completion, it seems almost unthinkable now to look back at the humble beginnings from which it started. I had noticed that Florence realized I was in an almost constant state of boredom, and it seemed only natural for her to want to bring me out of it, but did she have any idea that her actions in trying to do so would set such great events in motion? Truly, when she sent me to speak to Father Albrecht for spiritual guidance, she could never have known the flash of inspiration that his old Bible, or rather one verse in particular, would ignite within me. Even now, I find myself thinking of the verse every day. Psalms 142:7. Bring my soul out of prison, that I may praise thy name. During the early days, it made me wonder so much. Is the soul real? And if it is, could it be separated from its host body and placed into another vessel? It is from these questions that my idea for the machine developed, the machine which is now constructed and ready to fulfill its miraculous purpose.
Yes.
Chapter 2 complete. So now, Chapter 3. Chapter 3. New objective, find Jean.
I need a key.
The extraction machine. Incredible. I had my first truly successful run of the extraction machine today. I must make further notes of the process for later studies, but so far it seems that, given a high enough natural affinity, the soul of the subject can be safely extracted during the REM sleep phase. As such, the machine induces this state, extracts the soul, and transfers it into its new host body, a mechanical shell of my own creation. I have decided to name these shells echoes as a nod to their status as an echo of a former living person. This natural affinity of the soul is a fascinating prospect to me, and one which warrants further investigation. It seems to be linked in some way to emotional expression. The first successful echo was itself created from a prisoner named Jacob, who had begun painting to pass the time until his execution. I must say his unique style of painting was what drew me to him. Such vivid colors and imagination. I have scheduled an interview with Jacob Echo so that I may try to understand his new state, but for now he is safely placed in experiment storage alpha. Alpha storage key. Okay, computer.
Yes.
Something strange has happened to Jacob Echo. The man Jacob was, as I've previously mentioned, a character of vivid imagination and creativity. There is no evidence of this trait in Jacob Echo. The Echo has become cold, cruel, and vindictive. I had initially theorized that this was an expression of spite towards myself for putting him through the procedure, but the only thing Jacob Echo will tell me for certain is that he almost prefers his new state. Still, I must try to restore at least some of his emotions to him. Humanity's next evolutionary step shouldn't be a one that reduces us to unfeeling machines. My current theory is that allowing Jacob Echo to create a meaningful bond with other Echo will help to socialize him somewhat and restore some of his more positive traits. I must go in search of an appropriate subject for conversion. Upper stairs key.
Yes.
Lower stairs key. Mr. De La Crevier, we've taken the liberty of installing a power-secured lock on this door. Whatever it is you intend to do in here, you made it perfectly clear that you didn't want any unauthorized visitors, so when the doors have no power, they'll simply lock down and refuse to open for anyone. That means on the occasions where you definitely want to block access to the room, just cut the power and it'll be secure. If you desire to have finer control over the door's power, just let us know, but for the moment it will be linked to the main power breakers downstairs. If the breaker is unpowered, then so is the door.
Key is needed. Yes.
I worry that my pursuit of knowledge could be taking this too far. It seemed like no waste to use death row prisoners in my experiments, but bringing ordinary civilians into this leaves a foul taste in my mouth. Still, I believe I have a solution to the problem with Jacob Echo, and I have found a suitable Echo companion to socialize him with. I have kidnapped the man Jacob's wife, Leia. She will be turned into an Echo shortly. I hope this works. Access corridor key.
Yes.
Interview with Echo 1 and Echo 2. Good morning, Jacob Echo. I have something to show you today which I hope will improve your temperament somewhat. There is nothing you could present me with that would change my current feelings. I wouldn't be so sure, Jacob Echo. Bear with me a moment as I remove this curtain. You may find what lies behind it quite surprising. You have constructed another Echo. Why should I find this surprising? Ah, it is not the Echo itself you should find surprising, but the soul it contains, Jacob Echo. I would like to reintroduce you to your wife. You may call her Leah Echo. I see. You confront me with an echo of my human self's wife in the vain hope that it will restore me to a more pleasant state. I am sorry to inform you that it won't work. This woman means nothing to me. It's true, I hadn't seen Jacob for some time prior to his incarceration. Why is that? Should a husband's last thoughts before imprisonment not be of his wife? Maybe, for a man who had not been conducting an affair with another woman for many months. It's not me you want, it's her, that foul girl Rachel. I see. If that's the case, consider this interview over. I shall return you to experiment shortage beta shortly. Leia Echo. That was a mouthful. Alright, that one opens. Let me see if this one does. Okay. Need to look at both of these. I don't really see anything useful in this room. So, beta storage key. There's also some sort of gear. Small gear. And another small gear. Okay. 2 small gears. Not sure where they go, but...
Yes.
Okay. Power room key. Leia Echo was right. Just recently I located the girl Rachel of whom she spoke and was able to confirm that she had been partaking in frequent visits to the man Jacob while he was incarcerated. This at least confirms that she was having some form of affair with him, but will she be enough to restore him to his former personality? Only time will tell. I have freed the soul of Leia from her Echo shell. It seemed pointlessly cruel to keep her imprisoned without any need. Besides, I will be needing the shell again soon. Rachel is currently housed in the upstairs holding area pending her conversation into an Echo. I shall have her converted and presented to Jacob Echo as quickly as possible. I can't afford to waste any time at such a crucial point of the experiment as this. This is kind of ridiculous, all this walking back and forth.
Yes.
Gene, remember how the power works. 3 gears needed, 1 large, 1 medium, and a set of smaller ones. If the gears become detached, don't worry, they can simply be slotted back on. Put these on the wall in the correct arrangement, and it will allow the power mechanism to resume operation. I know that seems strange, but it's the most optimal way for the space available. Okay, I don't see anything laying there. Alright. Where do I put these? Large gear.
One eternity later.
This is irritating. Large, medium, small. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Small, medium. We've went through every possible combination twice now. Fucking hell, that's bullshit. Somewhere a door is unlocked. Unbelievable.
Yes.
Office key. Is there anything else lying here? I don't think so.
Yes.
Morgue key. No success. Even Rachel Echo could not improve Jacob Echo's temperament in the slightest. He most definitely recognized her as the subject of his human self's desire, but said that feeling was lost to him now. If meaningful connections cannot restore the humanity of an Echo, what else is there? The pressure to get this right is growing now. I feel as though I must make some breakthrough soon, or else what was all this work for? Sorry. I have deactivated the echoes for the foreseeable future. The burn of their eyes on me during observation periods was unbearable, and though they never said a single word to me outside of interviews, I knew the cruel thoughts that circulated in their minds. I have not, however, released their souls from the echo shells. This means that they are functionally aware to a degree, but deprived of the movement, hearing, speaking, and vision abilities that their echo shells provide them with. I have decided to look backwards for inspiration this time. Perhaps some of my older failed experiments can provide me with some inspiration for a solution to this problem.
Key is needed. Do that.
Ugh, come on.
Yes.
Workshop key. Looking back over these failed experiments, perhaps I approached the newer ones from the wrong angle. I had assumed that affinity of the soul was based on emotional intelligence or maturity, but these patient records show that many of the inmates I had chosen for echo conversion could be emotionally intelligent, as more than a few of them were painters, sculptors, and such in their spare time. So if emotional intelligence is not the answer, then I am left to conclude that affinity must be based on knowledge and willpower above all else. What else is there to judge a person by? And truly, who has more knowledge of the soul and willpower to persevere than myself? It is I that designed and built the extraction machine. It was I that carried on despite numerous setbacks. Therefore, it is I alone who will be able to withstand the extraction process and emerge with my emotional state unscathed on the other side. For this purpose, I must set to work creating a modified version of the extraction machine, one that I can safely use on myself from within the same room. Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Yes.
Metal slab. The Omega experiment room has now been prepared with the modified version of the soul extraction machine. To keep it safe, I have devised a key of my own design which can be made here in the workshop. No other keys will work on this door, and the Omega room key itself is only usable once from the outside to avoid unauthorized visitors from having repeat access to the room. I have foregone the creation of an echo shell to deposit my extracted soul into. I have faith that my force of willpower alone will provide me with the ability to create a corporeal form for my soul if necessary. Now only one thing remains: time to liberate my soul from this body. What an idiot. I have decided to create my own key for the Omega experiment room. To do this, I'll need to take some unrefined metal, heat it so that it can be shaped, then cut it into shape. To avoid damaging the lock mechanism on the Omega room's door, I should probably sand it down as well to remove any rough or sharp edges. If something goes wrong during this process, the metal will become useless for crafting into a key, but I can just crush it back into its original shape to restart the process. Cut sand. Alright. Heat. Cut. Sand. New item, Omega room key. Alright.
Yes.
Examine. He's gone. No shadow. No echo. Nothing. What did he do? Where did he go? What has he become? Bring my soul out of prison that I may praise thy name. Psalm 142:7. Alright, these are credits for stuff that you got in the game. Alright, let's skip that. Alright, well there you go. I guess that's the whole game, House of the Soul. I mean, it was really just a key hunting simulator, but I did enjoy the story a little bit. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, tell that like button you want to smash, and don't forget to subscribe. You stay you, I'll stay me, Drugi forever. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video. Later.